Hey everyone, welcome back to more Flesh and Bad, and today we're going to be playing some Gravy Jarl games. So I actually really enjoy this matchup, mainly because I win it a lot. It's actually quite easy, I think, to fatigue Gravy. So we're going to go ahead and give it a shot here. I'm not going to show the deck list for today, but you can kind of piece it together if you want to on your own. That's totally fine. All right, how are we going to start out here? So I think that this spelling is like a little bit too early, so maybe just start selling Sync here. And I think we're just hammering them just to get a little bit of filtering. Probably want to layer the Unforgetting first in terms of what we want to draw. Seems like our opponent's fat decking as well, so I think they are probably aware that this is going to be a pretty grindy matchup. Yep, we get a card out of them. I think that's fine. Unforgetting, Felling, Oasis. That seems okay. Cool. And this hand is also not bad. We need to find our Imposing Visage or a Crumble, ideally, so we can start trying to blow up Compass. It's also not like imperative to blow up Compass. Think you can blow it up by like turn 5 or 6. It's pretty good. And it looks like they're already popping their Mage Master boots, which is probably a good thing for us. I feel like a lot of gravies will pop it super early. I don't know if this is too early, but it feels a little early to me. All right, I think what we're gonna do here is just seeds, just to get an Earth card in the bin, and then we're pretty much just hammering. I think the Limpet. I think the kill priority for allies is very interesting. I think it actually kind of depends a lot on like what deck you are. But in general, for Jarl, I think that, or like any slow deck, I think that you have to kind of kill the go again one before anything else. All right, so it seems like they're just going to set up some more allies. That's fine. If they have 2 Incas, I'm not really that afraid of that. So go ahead and just double kill this. We'll arsenal the Oaken here because we want to try to keep our 7s for Chum, and we also want to keep it for Whaler Humperdinck, which I feel like most gravies are on 3 copies of that, just because it is a 7 toughness, which makes it pretty hard to kill for a lot of decks. Yep, but they have 2 non-Go-Again allies here, so they need to find like the cards to give them Go-Again. So we found a Crumble, but we might be in a spot where we kind of just need to clear allies for a bit. So I'm not like super highly prioritizing sending this. I also don't like sending Oaken at face here because a lot of these gravies will run some number of D-Reacts. So it gets significantly worse. Another option with this hand is we could also like Imposing Visage Oaken at Chum now. This might actually be a good use case for Block Stalagmite. The only problem with Block Stalagmite is we do want to try to save armor for more important things. Like the only thing that this would do... Oh, interesting. Okay, the only thing that this would do would be to stop Chum, maybe if they have a yellow in hand. Because they have 1... They would need a Dead Threads to get the extra resource. Yeah, because they put something in graveyard this turn. So I don't think we're actually stopping anything here unless this card is not a blue. So I think we're just passing. And we're gonna probably just Oaken Old Chum next turn. And then like maybe block a little, discard fruits, arsenal another Oaken Old. So this is threads. So if this is a yellow, it gets kind of interesting. But drawing into a heist, the Command and Conquer, right? It's kind of interesting. So they're not playing out the Chum? Oh, they had a Battalion Mark in hand. Okay, so this card in hand is the CNC Command and Conquer. That's fine. So we can actually just block Oakenold here and then imposing get crumble from deck attack. So I think this is pretty good for us. We're gonna save our armor here for the command the high seas. Is that what the card is? The ocean command and conquer. Yeah, but I've been having a lot of fun with this set. This set gives me kind of some Mistveil vibes, which is kind of cool. But it's not like that bad in terms of like the Mistveil vibes. I think it's like good Mistveil vibes. All right, so we're gonna get our opportunity to try to blow up the compass. Took like 2 damage to do this, but I think that's well worth it. Go ahead and get that early. Compass destroyed. We're frozen, so I think we pitched a frozen pretty early. That's typically the main way that you have to blow it up. Is I don't think you can mangle gravy. Unfortunately, it's just I think a little too. It's too like blockable basically. Like if they have any D-React stuck in Arsenal or whatever, then it gets like pretty rough. Alright, decent blocking hand. Imagine they're probably just gonna try to play out Chum this turn. Oh, there's the Whaler as well. Typically what I found with Whaler is that I normally try to sandbag a card to kill this card because it is very powerful, and like if you don't kill it the turn it lands on the field, you're in kind of bad shape. However, a lot of gravies think that they're pretty like safe when they cast this card, like, oh, it's not gonna die like this turn, right? But a lot of the time you can actually like a lot of times they'll play it and think they can attack next turn, but then they can't, which is pretty good for us. Okay, so we have part of me almost wants to just throw Crown in front of this because we do have CLF, which is going to slow them down pretty significantly. Oh, it seems like maybe they just want to Humperdinck instead. It's also an option. Hey, there's Chum. I assume they're going to try to play out the other guy as well. Alright, seems like they're going to try to play out the Humperdinck, which we will be able to kill right away. They actually can Chum this card here because we did play out the Crumble, which is a little unfortunate, but we still have the CLF, which might make it a little bit harder for them to swing Humperdinck. Oh, it seems like they're not going to go for the discard here, so we're probably safe to actually just play out the CLF then. And I think that we're sending the Oakenold at the Humperdinck. This is actually a pretty good turn for us. So they could have responded to the Crumble, and we'd have to kill Chum this turn, which actually would have meant they get to like get a swing of Humperdinck off. But I'm kind of glad that they did not go for that. It does have a cost to it, like they do have to discard a card with Watery Grave, so maybe they just didn't have it or didn't want to. We're gonna Arsenal Terrace under here because we had another Seeds in the deck, and I'm kind of glad that we drew it right away. So we'll go ahead and just Seeds this. The plan being to could potentially plow under. It's kind of bad. We might just like double pitch here or like block with Shelter, Arsenal, Pummel. I think a little bit of damage here I think is a-okay. I'm also trying to lean towards playing this matchup faster because in paper you kind of have to play a little bit faster. I think this matchup definitely goes to pretty late game fatigue. I think if both players are playing optimally. So this actually gets interesting. So they can Chum, but they'd also have to pay a card in the CLF. So I think we're actually safe to attack Anka here if we want to pull Tunic. Unfortunately, they're not going to keep our CLF around, but it did a good enough job, I think, at slowing them down last turn. Now we're just waiting for our Frozen to Death, and we're waiting for what else? Just waiting to kind of kill this Chum as well, I guess. Oh, Rootbound Carapace is quite nice. All right, so this is the last CNC. Nope. I hope that so I feel like this card when he gets pummeled is like kind of scary, but if it's not getting pummeled, we're kind of in fine shape here. So let's go ahead and I guess just throw a little bit of armor in front of it, maybe slow him down a little bit further. Might just be plow undering or pummel. That's also an option. We'll see. Plenty of birth cards in the bin. I think we're just gonna mash our 2 seeds. 2 seeds and a Visage seems fine to me. And this is why I typically try to save armor for like the on-hit effects. Like I think Loot the Hold is one of those. Ooh, Battalion Bark is very spicy. That might be like a fatigue card or something. I think we'll just go ahead and block with a plow here. Take 6. Definitely a little bit scary. This is the first time I think I've seen Battalion Bark get played. But pretty solid card in a Jarl. Right, we'll go ahead and just pummel the hammer here at the Chum. And just clear out our arsenal, keep the board a little bit clear. They have no allies in the bin right now, so they are going to have to do a bit of work to try to get that filled back up. Oh, there's our frozen, which we're probably going to try to arsenal. It seems like they're going to call. May get another whaler here, but it seems like, I don't know. It's very hard to cast whaler this early in the game. Like, I think it's kind of like a card you want to like use in the late game to kind of like play out. Oh. Yeah, I wonder what the tutor is going to be for here. Chum makes sense, I think. So unfortunately, we're not really able to kill Chum here. That's fine, though. Maybe also filter and try to find, like, a blue. All right, Sawbones is easily killable, though. Let's go ahead and just kill the Sawbones, pitching the So. Yeah, Chum is probably one of, like, the stickier allies that the Gravy decks typically run. Just coming in at 6 health is quite rough, but we'll go ahead and just gain a little bit of life here. At least they're not, like, swinging with it, which is nice. Go ahead and Arsenal Sink, I guess. All right, so I think the play here is going to be sink something. Ooh, they got Jerry Bones off the top. That's quite nice. Sink something. We can E-Strike. No, we can't E-Strike and do it. We can't do everything here. I think it's probably just going to be Frozen to Death Compass and then Arsenal the E-Strike. Oh yeah, the Saltwater Soul I think is one of the cooler cards in the game. Just very, very nice. Italian bark as well. Very, very scary. Like, these barks have actually been like quite nice. All right, let's go ahead and block with Easter. So we're gonna block with Easter here just to soak up a little bit of damage, I think, because they're not swinging with Chum, so it doesn't really matter. Let's go ahead and then do Sink and then no Sink. So now we're gonna make them very, very sad and blow out their compass, which means that they kind of can't really win the game from here. Not getting go again on the first ally is like pretty brutal. But I'll give them at least one last look on the compass. They can see this card of their deck and then no other cards. So go ahead and arsenal the eyes in here, which is mostly just a throwaway arsenal. We can maybe just like crown it or whatever. Yeah, blowing up the compass against Gravy is quite nice. It's one of the ways you can like fatigue in this matchup, specifically with Jarl, which is kind of cool. Basically means that it's like they're all of the allies that they play out of the bin are not going to have go again, which is rough. It seems like they're just going to attack with Chum here. Oh, they're going to play out another Chum. I see. Okay, that's also fine. Yeah, that's fine. Go ahead. Do we have Decompose? We do have Decompose. So we can actually Felling and then take a card out of their hand and then just like block with like Mangle. It seems all right. Go ahead and just block out a little bit. Play out Sigil, Felling. We strip a card out of their hand and also get to kill a Chum, which is quite nice. I think I'm going to try to bait them with the Sigil of Solace here and see if they want to like discard a card. Because it doesn't really matter. They both we're killing a Chum either way here. Alright, let's see if they fall for it. Alright, no falling for it. Alright, go ahead and target a Chum. Decompose, which will also strip a card out of their hand. And then we'll banish what here? Banish a Mangle, I guess. We are going to try to also play towards our Remembrance to kind of like buy back some of these threats that we kind of used in a kind of haphazard way in the early game. We're just going to use that to kind of close out the game eventually, but not super necessary now. We got kind of a long ways to go through their deck. Oh, Mighty's Touch, very, very nice. It's also kind of like Prism Tech for the most part, but it's also kind of very applicable to Gravy as well. All right, Murderous Rabble into Rigor Mortis. It's fine. Let's just give a little bit of block here. We also don't have to. Let's take 3. They are chipping us, like, definitely a pretty significant amount, but they're going to have a hard time, like, developing out anything from here. So, I think this is fine. So they'll not get go again on this, unfortunately. Which is quite rough. Yep. So go ahead and pass it back to us. I think we're going to just eyes in here just to get it out of our arsenal and then arsenal sync. I think there's also maybe merits like holding on to the Midas Touch, but we can always buy it back later, which is also kind of like the cool part about this deck. It's almost like a kind of toolbox card. Go ahead and discard the Witch's Bite here. Give them a bit of gold, which I don't think they're going to be able to use to very strong effect. And now we've kind of turned the game. Like we took 20 damage to get to this game state, but now like I think the game state is kind of insurmountable from this point. All we need to do from this point on is to basically just block whatever they're doing and then kill all their allies and then eventually just kind of win the game. 2 blue flying highs is quite interesting. Very weird. All right, go ahead and get rid of that Unforgetting, Unforgiving. How many allies they have in the bin? No allies in the bin. That's fine. They also added this like new sort feature on Talishar, which is kind of interesting because I think it reflects the rules changes a bit. So I think now you're technically allowed to sort your graveyard. All right, coming in with a Rabble. I think we'll just give a Carapace here. No Decompose, and then we'll just kill the Sawbones. Yeah, the blue flying hides are interesting. Like, why the blue? I guess the blue ones are just blue and give something go again. That probably makes sense. Because notably, it doesn't have to be a blue card to give it go again. It's just blue for +1. Right, there's a Swell. Go ahead and just block a little bit. We can easily kill both of these allies with the hammer, so it doesn't really matter. Right, we're going to play out a Sawbones here. Let's go ahead and just keep hammering away. I don't know. This matchup kind of reminds me of like old Dromai, but it kind of feels. I can't tell if it feels worse or better for us. Like there's less allies you have to worry about, but the allies don't have Phantasm, which is a little bit interesting. All right, coming with these sea legs to discard it. Sure, sure, sure. Do still have a Limpet in the bin. It's jittery as well. And here, what are we discarding? We're discarding another Limpet. That's also fine. I think we're just going to take this. We can always regain the life back with Sigil. We also have the ability to pull Tunic and Oasis anything else this turn if we need to. Alright, go ahead and pass. Nice, relaxing gravy game. Right, there's the chart. Alright. Looks like we're pitching a Call to Grave and discarding a Flying High. This card's really cool. Lots of weird variants of this card, which I think is probably for the best. Okay, so we have a Conquer the High Seas, which is fine. They don't really have any allies out, so we're kind of just safe to block a little here. We'll block with the Felling, which is like a little bit awkward, and then maybe just give the last charge to our gauntlets. Yeah, we'll go ahead and pull Tunic to Oasis, and we'll gain functionally 4 life here. We can actually Sigil plus Everbloom on our turn, which will let us buy back either the Midas Touch or the Felling. Right, there's the Barkeep as well. Can also just kill Limpet if they play one out. Okay, it seems like they're going to decide against that. All right, we'll go ahead and Sigil plus, or whoops, sorry, Sigil first. Sigil first, then we'll Everbloom. We'll buy back either buy back an Oaken, a Felling, or Midas Touch. I think we'll just take a Felling for now. Felling and Midas Touch are basically kind of the same card if you don't think about it. Ooh, another Everbloom is quite nice as well. I've been liking this card a lot in Jarl. Just lets you kind of have like a toolbox in your graveyard, kind of like similar to how Gravy does, just a little bit more kind of fair. So I think the play this turn is probably going to be just like take whatever they send at us. If they're even able to send anything at all. Because their allies still aren't going to have go again. And yeah, I think from that position, our opponent really wasn't winning. There were like they had a couple allies left in the deck. They had like one Humperdinck left, and then some like decent reds and blues that can maybe try to like fatigue us out. But like the kind of gravy deck just kind of runs too many cards that like don't do a ton on their own. Like Loot the Hold is basically like a 3-block do nothing, and then like Murderous Rebel is also kind of like a 3-for-3 that doesn't really do a lot as well. Like a lot of like most of this deck is fatigable just because of like these cards are not like necessarily converting into attack damage a lot of the time, which is kind of what makes the design a bit interesting. All right, let's see if we can get another here. Great, we got a KO. Probably still just want to go first in a KO. Let's start this game off. Could just go ahead and put a few cards in the bin, like IP with the Eisenloft, Arsenal Plow. Seems like a decent option. Could have just gained a little bit of life here. Maybe just play out Eisen and let it sack just to get cards in the yard. Go ahead and Arsenal the Plow here. Alright, this hand's pretty good. This lets us get our first Crumble out, which is quite nice. Can block 6 here, just get some more Earth in the bin as well. Pretty decent start from us. Looks like our opponent is going to be fat decking a little bit here. Alright, it's going to send in with Claw. Pitching Runner, Clash of Agility. I think we're just going to block the Rootbound here and maybe Imposing. It's a little bit awkward just because we have like this Mangle in hand. I'd just be over pitching the Mangle. Or if they like do the discard thing with Mandible, maybe we just throw Mangle in front of whatever they do next. Seems fine to me. Let's go ahead and get our first counter out. We'll go ahead and pay 4 into this just so that we get that out of our hand, and we'll go ahead and crumble their Scabskins, pass back. Mangle on top, for sure. All right, first Blood Rush of the game. Very nice. So I think is fine with us. Let's go ahead and give them a Stalagmite here, I think. Just try to slow this turn down as much as possible. I think that I generally try to save Stalagmite for my opponent's power turns if it is impactful. And this Frostbite might be surprisingly good depending on what they have in hand. Like if they have to pitch an extra red there, I think that is well worth it. All right, so we will have Decompose on the Felling, and then we can like Decompose with the Plow as well. You can also just Plow first and then Arsenal Felling. I think both are fine. Let's go ahead and just give a little blocks here. So I'll take a bit of damage, but not the worst Blood Rush turn in the world, I don't think. All right, Crumble is fine. So now I have an Arsenal. Let's go ahead and just Felling. It's a baby Felling, but baby Felling is still well worth it. I don't think I need to probably bring in the Remembrance for this matchup. Seems like it's easily winnable. Like even if they like fat deck like this, I think you can probably still just win off the back of them being KO and just like having to discard a bunch of cards. All right. Oasis not bad. Swing big as well. So they are going to keep an Arsenal here, but I think I'd rather just Plow. Could also just like Arsenal CNC. I think both are fine. Could also Arsenal Frozen as an option. Let's maybe just block with the CNC here. We don't know that they're going to keep an Arsenal next turn. I feel like I'd rather just use the Oasis up here. I think we're going to Plow. Pitching Fruits, Arsenal Frozen. Try to blow up their scabs next turn, maybe. But yeah, we got to our Decompose, which is quite nice. We're gonna have to banish a Felling here, I think, which is a little bit suboptimal, but we have 2 other Fellings in the deck, so if we need to get them back at some point, I don't think that's gonna be too much of a stretch. We're still kind of trading on life here, which is also quite nice. They're gonna block with the Sash. I might try to go for blowing up the Sash if they don't use it next turn. Depends a lot on what they do. Right, there's the second Blood Rush. A-okay with me. We have a pretty nice blocking hand here. Let's go ahead and give them another Stalagmite. We could also say that we want to like save the Stalagmite just in case. I think both are reasonable. Crown also feels like kind of good here, just because like this Frozen Death is not going to be doing anything this turn. I think this is fine though. We're probably just going to block out a bit. So let's go ahead and do the Unforgetting, Unforgiving. I think I'm not going to make a Frostbite this turn just because I don't think that their Blood Rush hand is that good on 4 cards. We'll not banish the Mangle. Just block a bit here. Could try to sink the Frozen for a different blue that we can then like plow under. That'd be kind of nice. Right, there's Pulping. Sure. Oh. Alright, they want a Savage Sash into Pulping. That is also acceptable to me. So we'll go ahead and I don't know here. Maybe I am just giving up Crown just to like see what we can get. Let's go ahead and get rid of the Arsenal. Alright, blue is excellent. This means that we can kind of keep up the tempo next turn. Although we need an Earth card in the bin to do this. Yes, we need to block with the Plow if we wanted to do this fully. So I'm hoping that they have another card in the hand that they play. If they don't, it's a little bit awkward. Oh, perfect. Okay. So yeah, we'll just go ahead and send back a Felling at them. I think we probably should have blocked that Plow a bit earlier, but didn't get punished for it, which is nice. All right, let's go ahead and play out the Felling. Get rid of that Mangle. Not super imperative to, I feel like, pull up Scabs against Kayo, although I do think that there is like a strat with Kayo where you like roll Scabs every turn against this kind of style of deck. And then you kind of just try to fatigue from there. All right, Cast Bones hitting the full hit is a little bit scary. I think we might just try to CLF this. Yeah, it seems probably worth it. Could get a random Arsenal as well. I think that's probably worth it as well, because I think we still have those 2 seeds in the deck somewhere. Right, go ahead and draw. We got Arsenal. If we draw into a seeds, obviously that's a little bit unfortunate. But we'll go ahead and just try to block out the turn here. I might not be able to block it out fully, but I imagine they're not going to be able to do a ton through this. Like, they might not be able to use the agility, which I think is the most important part of Cast Bones. Like, if they can like go wide and then also make a bunch of mites, it's really scary. Oh, that is a KO hand of all time. Let me tell you. Okay. So I guess we're just gonna be we can't decompose again, but that's fine. We just go and take our 3 damage here, and then just send a Dominated Mangle to try to blow up their Scabs. Probably just give us another piece of armor here, but if taking a card out of their hand, I think that's also fine. I think this is one of the downsides of fat decking against Jarl is that you're not drawing into your blues, because a lot of the like sideboard cards people run, especially in KO, are like reds basically. All right, let's go ahead. We could also no, I think just dominating the Mangle is probably fine. I was thinking if there's some way we can like Winter's Bright plus Mangle, which we can do, but then we can't keep Seal off around. So I don't think it's worth it. This is basically like a better Winter's Bite if you think about it. Yeah, we've done it. We've done a pretty good job, I think, of slowing the game down until this point. I think it's just about kind of closing now is kind of our biggest hurdle we gotta get over. We also saw 2 blood rushes and cat's bone, so like the amount of damage that we've taken kind of makes sense for what they've drawn. I feel like the rest of their deck is not necessarily as high of quality as this kind of like card pool that they've drawn right here. All right, seems like they're just going to try to hold on to their scabs, which makes sense. This is just to kind of force out a block more than anything. Go ahead and we'll probably take the blizzard first, I guess. Well, this hand's also pretty good. And block 7, Winter's Bite, Arsenal Sink. That seems fine. We might not even like decompose here. Might just save it for a future decompose turn. No decompose. Could have also like held on to a little bit more of the hand and like played out a CLF, but I don't think that's necessary on a 4-card hand or a 3-card hand if we do it like this. Right, go ahead and pitching a Skullcrack. Maybe it signals that their hand is a bit red heavy, or it could be a bit red heavy. All right, this hand doesn't quite Oakenold, but we can also try to fix for it Oakenold. We also just have like Plow under Pummel. Maybe we aren't supposed to fix this. I think we're probably just supposed to like sink and then Arsenal the Oakenold for later. I just wind up. That's also fine. So you have cast bones here. It's like a little bit awkward, but we can pummel Plow. So maybe that's fine. They do have a 50-50 if they want to throw their flush bag in front of it. Okay, yeah, pretty good. So they do have a 50-50 to banish our pummel, which would suck, but we won't decompose here since they didn't keep an arsenal. Then we'll go ahead and just pull our tunic and take a card out of them. Seems fine. Still also have our flexors available to us. Oh, discarded beast within getting a runner. That's actually kind of rough for us. Okay, we'll have to manage here. So we can also just felling this turn. Interesting. Okay, so they're gonna make another agility. I think we're just have to blizzard and take a little bit here. Not ideal. We're gonna be taking 8, but then we get the send back of felling, which is quite nice. So I think that's probably the play. If there's like no way they can pay for a blizzard, right? Like I think that they're probably not going to be able to get the go again here. Unless they have another blue randomly, but seems pretty safe to assume that the blizzard is functionally kind of blocking 3 here. All right, so there's no way they can do anything on their turn. We'll go ahead and sink. No sink, and just take our 8. Life total is definitely evening out a bit here, but we still have a bit of armor to work with. I guess so do they, but I feel like their armor is a little bit worse than ours. And hopefully this Oakenold can help kind of close us out. All right, decomp. Root bound, opposing. So assuming they don't block here, they go to what, like 3, basically. All right, banish your root bounds, opposing seems fine. It seems like they're going to give us a card here, maybe a little bit scared of just taking the full 8 and going to 3. All right, Reckless and a Everbloom on top. All right, Reckless is actually pretty good information. All right, let's see what the 2-card hand is. All right, fortunately no Oakenold, but that's a-okay. Discarding the Reckless, which means we can block this pulping. So I think we're probably just E-striking here, and then putting the Everbloom in the yard. And then just trying to set up an Oaken next turn. So this will stop the go again, because unfortunately they hit the Reckless. Or, oh, they have the agility. Okay, it won't stop the go again. That's also fine. Could also sunk the oak in there, but I don't think it really matters. We're gonna sink it regardless. Alright, ending on another cast bones is terrifying. This is a sick KO draw, by the way. 2 blood rush in the first 2 hands, and then like 3 cast bones to follow up afterwards. It's kind of disgusting. We'll still, I think, live through this, but that is a very good KO draw for someone who's fat decking. Holy hell. Alright, looks like they're just gonna give us the flush back here. How much damage are we gonna be taking on this next turn? Probably a fair bit. We might need to just block out this next turn. Okay. Agile wind up. Fine with me. Into the beatdown. So we don't really have a way to... So this is coming for 18. So we obviously throw a little bit of armor in front of it. And then block with these 2, I think. And then we just can sigil and then send hammer. They have to give us a card to respect it. So I think we're still in fine shape here. We could also... There's stalagmite in front of it, but I don't think that does much. So yeah, I think we're just taking 10 here, going to 1, gain 3, go to 4. Seems fine by me. Yeah, Savage Beatdown quite good into Guardian as well. But yeah, here on out, they have to give us a card every turn. So I think that is quite beneficial for us. And we still have a bit of armor to work with the flexors as well. They haven't been going like super wide. They've been going a lot more tall. So the flexors, I feel like, has not gotten a ton of value. Yeah, like even on their Blood Rush turns, there wasn't really a good opportunity to flexors, I feel like. Maybe the second Blood Rush turn there was. Should probably be on the lookout for that a little bit more. Do have the fused Oaken to kind of close us out here. If we can just block with 4 armor, or we can block with 5 armor even here. Block with 5 armor, sigil. If we can block 8 and still live, then we're fine here. Alright, so unfortunately this will disrupt us. But that's okay. We don't need to like go for Oaken just right away. Could just send another So at them. They still have to give us 2 cards. Or they still have to give us at least 1 card. And then we just give them a little bit of armor. Alright, so go ahead and just give them Stalagmite. So unfortunately, we can't kill with the Oaken this turn, but that's, I think, acceptable. Then they need another blue here to even swing the Hammer at us, so... Or the Claw at us, rather. Alright, seems fine by me. Send in the Hammer. Must give us at least a card and then also a piece of armor here. Okay, seems good. We'll go ahead and go back up to 7. Alright, let's see how good this 4-card KO hand is. Alright, that's a pretty good start. So, how do we... I put tall and bullet. What are we doing here anymore? Okay. So... I think we're just giving a bit of armor here. Could theoretically quick dodge this. Might not be worth it. Could have just quick dodge with the tunic since we're not going to be using the tunic counter anyways. Let's go ahead and throw armor in front of it here. And then just pull our tunic to quick dodge. And then we can maybe use the remainder of the quick dodge as well. We're not going to need tunic counter here for the rest of the game, I think. So we'll just cash in the value. Alright, Bear Fangs to follow up as well. So that will be presenting lethal. I know we have Sigil, so that's fine. So we can actually just go ahead and Winter's Bite, Sigil. Yeah, we're fine here. Go ahead and get a bit of life. Go to 3. And now we can close out the game pretty easily from here, I think. So we're stripping 2 cards here. And then they have to block with... Or we're stripping a card here, and then they have to block with 2 cards from hand. Pretty solid. And then if we draw into a nice hand here where we can Oaken, I think we're going to be able to close that game. If we can't close the game next turn, we're probably just disrupting them to the point where we can't do much. Okay, so this is not a hand that can Oaken, unfortunately, but can do other things, so that's fine. Oh, we need to stay alive. Okay, we're at 3, so that's fine. Go ahead and block with the Frozen, E-Strike into Everbloom. Seems good. Gilgan here. And then they basically have to give us their full hand, assuming their hand blocks at all. Okay, they did manage to block, so they live another turn. And here we can just send a Mangle. It seems fine. Oh, actually, hold on. We should actually play around Reckless with the seeds, shouldn't we? Yeah, we probably should. That gets a little bit awkward. So we should actually just send CNC here. If they keep 2 cards, it gets a bit awkward. But it does mean that we play around the Reckless swing. I wasn't even thinking about that, to be honest. We did see at least one. All right, Runner, Pulse of Ice and Loft. Sure. It's getting a little bit dicey. There is maybe a merit to just not caring about the Reckless there. Maybe. It's still fine, though. We can block. We get rid of our Oaken, which sucks. But I don't think there's really a way around it. And then we block 3, pitch the Eisen, and then discard the fruits just so we go back up to 4. Seems fine. I will try to make them use the Reckless at least, because we can always respond to it with the fruits. All right, basically a battle of whose like 4-card hand is better here. I do get another agility token out of this. That's fine. So you actually just kill him with Eisen, right? Yeah. Okay, so that's the plan. Go ahead and block with the Frozen, and then Shelter, I guess, just stay a little bit healthy. Wow, I thought this game was gonna end like 10 turns ago, but apparently it's still going on. Getting pretty close to fatigue here, honestly, as well. They have another Reckless, it gets really awkward. There's maybe in some merit that I guess we have to pitch, right? Yeah, there's no way we can, like, not attack. Gets a little bit weird. All right, we're running 2 10-foot tall and bulletproof. That is, I think, a little bit more than I'm used to seeing. The card's pretty good against Jarl for what it's worth, but I think, I don't know. I don't think it ever came up other than discarding it, so I maybe it's also for like Assassin or whatever. That I can kind of see that as well. All right, yeah, so I'm not going to show the video list for today just because this is the list that I'm testing for Nats, but if you want to go ahead and do some detective work, figure out what cards I'm playing, not playing, feel free to go ahead and look through the video as well. And yeah, I think it's gonna wrap it up for today. So thank you all for watching. I know we've been doing a lot of like limited content this past week, so I wanted to just throw in some constructed content as well because I think it also gets a little bit more interesting with the high seas and stuff like that. Yeah, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time. And a special thank you to all the folks who decided it would be a good idea to give us $2 on Patreon. We really appreciate the support, but it's obviously never required.